key characteristic of any decision making stage. That defines the predefined. In the list. Don't think about it in isolation. Think about it in a framework.
The complement objective has been met.
Because it is a decision making stage. So there will always be a yes or no. And it is this which would compel you to revisit earlier stages. So that iteration will continue. Two important decisions which would be considered at this stage. Whether the criteria established under stage 2 designed to operationalize a decision problem and decision maker objective have proved to be adequate or sufficient in the light of the preceding assessment.
Basically, you were talking about the reassessment of the previous study, whether it has been done successfully or not.
Yes, because here you will be revisiting the earlier stage. Because it is the checkpoint where you have to decide upon the cost involved, okay, the benefit and the overall objective of the whole exercise. And from here, you would be, and that again revisiting the, is there a clear preferred option on the basis of the earlier set of analysis? Does the assessment provide a clear understanding of the importance of the risk involved? Does the manner in which the risk and uncertainty was accounted, it allows for your robust decision? Could the adoption of different decision making criteria would have made a difference to the choice of the option? As the identified problem, this stage be adequate? An appreciation of the overall degree of uncertainty, variability and the confidence that can be placed in the analysis and the findings. An understanding of the key sources of variability, uncertainty and their impacts on your decision which you are taking. Most importantly, critical assumptions involved. Because you may have to account for availability of information in the future as well. Because with respect to the climate, you can expect that the monitoring technology is expected to improve. So, is that the decision which you are taking will not constrain your ability to adapt to any in the backdrop of the availability of new information as such. So, it should not be an adaptation constraining decision not just for others but also for yourself. And it also involves that at that stage, when you have your sensitivity analysis of assumptions, then what assumptions have been ignored? And also, it is not that, okay, we are not bothered about this at the moment, we are not bothered about this at the moment. let's be focused about the strategic objectives. But then, if these were considered less important, why were they considered less important? Because it will be the case that you are now reviewing a project because of this adaptation policy to be formulated, then you would be asking, okay, the earlier team which had done this project, what are the factors which they had taken into account? Logical alternative assumptions, how they would affect my decision. Then, last but not the least, key scientific controversies, in which we cannot be a party to a very large extent, but still, the information about the ongoing debate about.
Can some role also be played by the insurance mechanism in this process?
Yes, that insurance and all these instruments needs to be evolved, because the study does say that participation, as in whether derivatives markets, that is completely missing as far as the fees are concerned.
Do they exist in the?
Yes, they have discussed about some various foundation fund and some organization have come up with certain kind of arrangement. And also, for example, in case of the yes, because I discussed that sharing of losses. You would like to share your losses, so you hedge. That is also a part.
Like the BP paid $2 billion, but that was they must have hedged about all these things also to some extent.
Yes, that information is not there, as in how much, because when, not related to the discussion, but when the Reliance came and it made a venture into the telecom sector, they said that, okay, many of the people simply throw their phone sets, or they were not willing to pay the bills. So to the tune of 1,000 rupees, now you may, if you are not paying a bill for 500 rupees, you may get a call from the customer care. But earlier, the Reliance had to waive off to the extent of 50,000 rupees a bill.
Also, I think Reliance.
And the point is maybe that then it was said that, okay, a part of it was insured. Because they have said that the cost of the instrument is the major bottleneck. However, the person at the end is willing to take up the service. And you also over the time pay for that cost of the equipment. So yes, insurance is an important strategy. But that is why the energy sector adaptation I am talking about. I am not talking about the adaptation of the energy system. Because the impetus has to come from there.
I think Reliance also had a major fire in the refinery 2-3 years back.
Yes, sir.
And they had got a huge amount of insurance claim on that also.
November 2006.
They had insured all that. A lot of people were speculating on other things.
So let us just clarify that once these two stages would come as touching the problem. Let us analyze the problem, your decision making stage, and then your post decision making. So let us see how the final step comes about. All these three stages are here. You are moving along this, and it is at the decision making stage. You revisit. You can revisit the problem identification or the decision making phase, and from there you move to implement decision in the model. Now, still the one part of the story is missing. I have some pen at my hand. The story is still not over. And the time which I have spent in cooking the story, I will not allow you to relax. How much will it cost? That is the cost component. Then it depends upon the type of a tool which you are looking for. You cannot go for overnight, your organization cannot go for the climate modeling. So you will need data set, information, and sometimes that would be missing. Or sometimes they would come at a cost. That's why I discussed that initiative of the Government of India that you need strategic knowledge for climate change in order to be resilient. That's why the whole exercise becomes important. You can now understand the logic of that exercise. And then there are copyrights to software packages. I could not download the expert choice software because you will incur cost in that. Then also you may not be having the in-house capacity to deal with these tools. So there would always be a consultancy cost involved. The next most important thing, how long will it take? Because it would have the decision has a strategic importance. But you cannot postpone it for too long. Or the time duration which you have, in that you have to decide. Or you may not be willing to go for a costly solutions. In any case, if you are to lay down a new pipeline, replace the earlier one, then you would say, okay, let's go for the best available. So it means that where you have to manage. So the role of the manager and the decision making, which aspect is important, which is not, that can be left out. Or, you are operating in a big policy environment. So, if you are looking for some kind of a solution for which that policy is still not stringent enough to take account of that. That's why your assessment and endpoints. Okay, this much, to this extent I want to adapt, so that for this time horizon I may not have to revisit the decision. And I don't see any kind of policy environment change in the near future. What is that time frame? Can appropriate data and information be obtained? All these factors would affect your choice of the tools. Who will undertake the analysis? Because you have multiple stakeholders. And who will be financing it?
Sir, what is the answer? Suppose a company is laying a pipeline, or suppose India is making strategic oil reserves. That is one of the things which is,
Yes.
and so, and whether India should go for the strategic or reserve or not, they need to build some capacity.
Yes, national level, at the national level, this is one important question. Now, what alternatives do you have?
So buying the oil, whatever price is available.
So, if there is a oil supply shock, it's safeguarding that shock so that you have some capacity at your end. The minimum requirement is for 90 days. Now, one of the proposals we made that International Energy Agency wants India to participate in their emergency response system. So it is always about, it's not yes or no, because that would also bring certain important other issues which you are not taking into account when you are deciding domestically whether you want to have your strategic oil reserves. There is always a cost involved in it.
So what they are waiting for is when the price will dip, then only they will take the reserve. Because once they use, the price is suddenly high.
No, but we were not expecting above $100 a barrel. But at this stage, we are not expecting $50 or $150 a barrel. So you cannot say, considering the uncertainty, what is going to be the price? And if this price is a low price compared to the future scenarios, then the discussion about the availability, the role of the swing producers, all that comes into picture. So it is not necessarily a yes or no question that we should be doing it or we should not be doing it. I think that answers your query. If the national level decision is to be taken, then see, if the organizations are going abroad to acquire energy assets, one argument could be that we should not be financing it. If ONGC Videsh Limited is acquiring energy assets with public money, what's the point doing that? In any case, if that will be available to us, it would be available at that, in the future, it would be available at the international market price. So you are not building a kind of a safeguard on the pricing part. But it may be the case that there may be a situation where you will not have adequate supply of oil. Then your equity or assets would help you safeguard your interest. So there is a whole lot of issues there.
But the company is not taking a decision. The company who is doing that, building a facility or doing that exploration.
But I think if Government of India decides that, okay, we are not going to be there in the energy diplomacy and let ONGC operate on its own, then will they be conducting that business decision? There would be a policy environment, and related to that, you will find that there is an energy security division within Ministry of External Affairs. Why not in Planning Commission? So I think one last thing I would like to show. Now you can, I'll leave the PPT here, and it's there on the Energy Sector Management Assistance Program website, and also I think on World Bank Energy website. Now the point I want to show you. Now the video clipping which I showed with respect to the Albanian energy sector. Now, that was a pilot project carried out to implement this framework which I have just discussed. Now, there are these different stages, more or less the same, and they have gone into breaking down the timelines. As in, they are talking about before workshop 1, during workshop 1, during meeting 1, before workshop 2, during workshop 2. And at each of these stages, what you should be expecting. What are the tools at this particular stage? Key questions, time you should be spending, who is involved, learning guidance, and what is expected at this particular stage. So it is a detailed, stage-wise toolkit. And I leave it at your disposal.